income in year 1 is 10,000 billion, or $10 trillion. Disposable income in year 2 is 11 trillion, 11,000 billion. The MPC, again, is 80%. Consumption in year 2 is what? A, 0.8 times 11,000. B, 0.8 times 10,000 plus 1,000. C, 0.8 times 1,000 is $800 billion more than in year 1. D can't be determined. E, again, not a clue. All right, 3 seconds. 1, 2, and 3. Good job. All right, 77%. Get the happy face. So what we know is we can talk about the change in consumption, but we don't know what total consumption is. We have enough information to talk about the change in consumption, but we don't have enough information to know what the total consumption is. So we know that when disposable income goes up, in this case by $1,000 billion, that 80% of that will be used for consumption spending, and so the change in consumption is going to be $800 billion. So consumption will be $800 billion more. We don't know what total C is. We don't have enough information to figure out total consumption. Okay. Solving for equilibrium. We did a really easy solving for equilibrium the other day. Let's practice again. You need to be able to do this on November, whatever that date is, 19th, 18th, 19th. 19th, because Tuesday the 18th is the home opener for the women's basketball game, and you will all be there. Okay, anyway, back to what I was doing. Solving for equilibrium. Consumption. Suppose consumption is 500 plus 0.9 times disposable income. Transfers are 100, and taxes are 300. My suggestion is that you simplify that consumption equation and get it down so that you've got consumption equals some number plus some other number times income. So we're going to simplify this down and get consumption is some number plus some other number times income. Investment is 500, government is 200, exports is 100, and imports are 200. To find the equilibrium level of income, we know that income equals C plus I plus G plus exports minus imports when the economy is in equilibrium. That's one of the many different ways of saying that sentence. Go for it. Take a stab at it. Figure out what you got. If you're not quite sure where to start, ask the person next to you. See if they know what it is you're supposed to do to simplify the consumption function. If the person next to you doesn't know, maybe sit next to somebody else next time. Just an idea. Just a thought. You ever had to do your nines tables, right? So you take your finger, 9 times 1 is 9, 9 times 2 is 1, 8 is 18, 9 times 3 is 2, 7, 27, 4. I just got to look. Done? Done? Making progress? Ooh, that's awfully small. Making progress? Oh, she's walking the aisles. Maybe I should be doing this. Making progress? And the answer, yes. Good. Good. What else we got? Yes, good. You put a box around it, I can see it. Awesome. How are we coming back here? Making progress? People on the floor, making progress? How many people have an answer? Raise your hand if you have an answer. Okay, let's take another minute or two. Keep going. No, that's not your answer. Where's your answer for income? There it is. Is it a 9? Yeah, good. Did you get that same answer? No, check it out. Figure out what happened. It's an arithmetic error someplace. Yours is good? Nope. So that was for consumption? I'm not sure what you did. You missed some steps. Nope. Thank you. What'd you get? Nope. Okay. She knows she messed up. Times 10. Times 10. Nope. Nope. Oh, I need some more yeses. Nope. Uh-oh. All right. You know that you got to be able to do this 2 weeks from today without a calculator. They got it? You guys all got it? Okay, the GSI's got it. All right, let's simplify the consumption function. You could just plug everything in, but then you got too much to drag along. 500 plus 0.9 times disposable income, which is income, plus transfers of 100 minus taxes of 300. That's the same as 500 plus 0.9 parentheses income minus 200. I like to simplify my YD equation before I multiply because I'm better at adding and subtracting than I am at multiplying. I'm actually pretty good at all of them, but that's okay. 500 plus 0.9 income minus 180. Make sure you distribute that 0.9 through the parentheses. 500 minus 180, 500 minus 200 is 300. Add the 20 back in, 320. That's common core math. That's your front plus 0.9 times income. And so what do we have? We've got income equals 320 plus 0.9 times income plus 500 plus 200 plus 100 minus 200. Income on the left, on the right. Let's see. I've got a plus 200 and I've got a minus 200. Those things cancel out. I've got 100 plus 500 is 600 plus 320 is 920 plus 0.9 times income. I'm going to subtract 0.9 income from both sides of the equation, leaves me with 0.1 income on the left equals 920 on the right. Divide both sides by 0.1. Income equals 9,200. There's no units given. If it was a problem on a midterm, there'd be units that were given. Make sure you write down the units. That's an extra point. 9,200, whatever the units are. What would that be? That'd likely be like $1 billion per year. So check it out. Figure out, for those of you, there were a bunch of different wrong answers. I saw 12,800 a lot. I'm not sure where that one came from. Possibly, if you add it in instead of subtract it, I'm not sure where it came from. So check it out. Try to figure out what your mistake was and get that process corrected by 2 weeks from today. All right, so that's the algebraic way of doing it. Let's look at the graphy way of doing it. Again, we put aggregate demand on the vertical, income on the horizontal. When we had our, wrong button. Our aggregate demand equation is right here. So when we simplified and got down to the point where we had 920 plus 0.9y, that's aggregate demand. Because aggregate demand is C plus I plus G plus exports minus imports. So aggregate demand in this case is 920 plus 0.9y. And so we're going to graph it. We're going to find 920 here on the vertical axis, and we're going to draw a line that has a slope of 0.9y. To find equilibrium, we need to find the one and only point on that line that's the same distance from both axes, because that's the point where output equals aggregate demand. The quick way of doing that graphically is to put a 45-degree line on the graph. That's a line with a slope of 1. Every point on that line is a possible equilibrium point. The equilibrium for the economy in which aggregate demand is 920 plus 0.9, the intersection point there we found algebraically to be 9,200. And so where those two lines cross is going to be the point where both output income, y, the thing that's measured on the horizontal axis, is 9,200, and aggregate demand measured on the vertical axis is also 9,200. So we've talked about the determinants of macroequilibrium. We've talked about the really important concept of unemployment equilibrium. We've talked about that, we noticed that, or know that, or I told you that, whatever, that the amount of output that's produced in the economy, which we care about because that determines unemployment and employment. The amount of output that's produced in the economy depends upon aggregate demand because businesses only produce stuff if they expect somebody to buy it. That aggregate demand is consumption plus investment plus government plus net exports. We talked about the determinants of consumption spending, disposable income, wealth, interest rates, credit availability, and expectations. Next part of it is investment spending. So let's look at investment spending and start with the clicker question. Tell me, once again, what is investment spending? Investment spending, A, excludes purchases of stocks and bonds. B, includes all business spending. C, is done by businesses, people, and the government. D, is the most stable component of C plus I plus G plus net exports, or E, none of the above. A, B, C, D, or E. This one you should know. Don't make me weep. Don't make me weep. I'll have to. Oh, mama, don't you weep, don't you cry. 3 seconds. 1, 2. Oh, I'm weeping. I'm weeping. Now I sound like I'm melting. Investment spending. It's a very happy face for those 50%, but it's not a generally happy face overall. Investment spending does not include purchases of stocks and bonds. Stocks and bonds are not machinery. Stocks and bonds are not construction. Stocks and bonds are not physical goods and inventory. And investment spending is businesses' purchases of machinery, construction, and changes in the value of inventory holdings. Ladies, do I have a question? You need to clarify? You want me to clarify again? You're good. All right. Stocks and bonds. Are those physical assets? Yes or no? No. Buying stocks and bonds. This was on the midterm, was it not? Buying stocks and bonds. Buying stocks and bonds is a change in how somebody holds their wealth. That's all it is. It's a change in how someone holds their wealth. It's not investment spending. Investment spending, the I of C plus I plus G, this is so important. Investment spending is businesses' purchases of machinery, construction of buildings, and changes in the value of inventory holdings. Got it? I hope so. All right, that's what this slide says. It's business spending for construction, new equipment, changes in the value of inventory holding, and it has nothing to do with stocks and bonds. Probably most of you wouldn't have said, you would have said A if you had the slides. It's right there on the next slide. So let's think about how this works. And you're going to see how it works in section as well. Suppose that you are Yogurt Park and you're thinking about buying a new machine, and suppose this new frozen yogurt machine is a $10,000 machine. In order to decide whether or not to buy this new $10,000 machine, you need to do a business plan, and you need to estimate. There's a lot of chatter. And I tried to be really patient with it, but I'm about this close to really blowing up. So shut up. You guys, too much. Okay? All right. Suppose that you are running Yogurt Park and you want to buy a new machine. It's $10,000 to buy a new machine, and you need to have a business plan to figure out whether or not this is a profitable investment. Because if you own a small business, your goal is to maximize profit. Suppose that in your business plan, you realize that you could, if you bought and used this machine, you could sell $22,000 more worth of cups of frozen yogurt. Your additional revenue would be $22,000. And I need a time frame on this. Let's say it's over the life of the machine. Yeah, let's say it's free. It doesn't matter. Let me make it easy. Let me say it's over the life of the machine, but let's suppose the life is just 1 year. So we're going to stretch things a little bit here. You can add revenue, $22,000 more revenue, but you can't make frozen yogurt cups out of thin air. You need to have electricity, you need to have the milk, you need to have all those things we listed that day. And so your additional cost of producing all those cups are $22,000, which means if you buy and use this machine, your expected new net revenue would be the plus $22,000 minus the $20,000. You'd have a $2,000 gain in your net revenue. So you look at how much your costs go up, how much your revenue goes up, take the difference between that. That's the gain in net revenue. We also call that the expected dollar return. So same concept, different language. It's the same thing as saying what's the expected dollar return. So the expected dollar return from buying and using this machine is $2,000. If you can get the money to buy this machine for less than $2,000, then it's profitable to buy and use this machine. If you can't get the money to buy and use this machine for less than $2,000, then it's not profitable to buy and use this machine. Now, okay, there's a good logic to that, except that when we talk about the cost of getting money, it's never really expressed in terms of dollars. Right? Nobody says the cost of this loan is $100. People express the cost of loans or how much you're earning on your financial assets in percentages. And so we need to take that expected dollar return and express it as a percentage. And so we take the expected dollar return and divide it by the price of the machine. And that's going to give us a rate of return. So we're expecting $2,000 additional from buying and using a $10,000 machine. It's a 20% expected rate of return. RR for rate of return, and there's a superscript E there because this is all the plan, right? We don't have a crystal ball. This is all what we think will happen. There's some uncertainty around this. We think this is what will happen if we buy and use this machine. The profit-maximizing business owner is going to compare this expected rate of return, 20% in this example, is going to compare that expected rate of return with interest rates. If the expected rate of return is greater than the interest rate, then it's profitable to buy the machine. If the expected rate of return is greater of 20% is greater than the interest rate to get the money, you're going to make profit by buying and using the machine, buy the machine. If the expected rate of return is less than the interest rate, then don't buy the machine. It's not profitable. You're going to lose profit by buying this machine if the expected rate of return is less than the interest rate. That strategy of comparing the expected rate of return and the interest rate is independent of the source of the money. It's the same strategy regardless of the source of the money. If the business is borrowing money, then the relevant interest rate is going to be the rate at which they borrow. The rate to borrow. So if they can borrow at 8%, that's the relevant interest rate. If they have to use their credit card and their credit card interest rate is 29%, that's the relevant interest rate. The relevant interest rate if they're borrowing is the interest rate to borrow. If they are using their own money, if they are using their own savings, then the relevant interest rate is an opportunity cost. It's the interest rate is what's earned on financial assets. So if they have to take funds out of the bank and it's been in an account that's earning 5%, the interest rate is 5%. They're going to take their funds out of savings and the best they could find for their savings account was 2%, then the relevant interest rate is 2%. Question on the side. Did you print the slides out? Okay, and it's on the webcast, so you can get it off of those. Okay. All right, so let's look at particulars. Suppose that you work for a business, and that business is considering 3 projects A, B, and C. And the first project A is a $10,000 project, and you've estimated that has an expected rate of return of 14%. The second is project B, and that has a cost of $5,000, and you've estimated that it has an expected rate of return comparing the additional revenue and additional cost of 10%. And the third is project C, you have to call them A, B, and C because corporate secrets and all that. The third is project C, which is an $8,000 project and has an expected rate of return of 4%. These are independent, so you can get this, you can do all 3 and you get 14 on A and 10 on B and 4 on C, so the expected rates of return are independent. Suppose that interest rates are 2%. If interest rates are 2%, is it profitable for your business to do project A? Yes or no? Yes. Certainly they want to do A because the expected rate of return is 14, which is bigger than 2. It's profitable to do that project. Is it profitable to do project B? Yes or no? All right. Is it profitable to do project C? Yes or no? All right, so they're going to do all three, and their total investment spending is going to be the $10,000 plus the $5,000 plus the $8,000, or $23,000 in investment spending. Suppose instead that interest rates are 8%. If interest rates are 8%, is project A a profitable project? Yes or no? Is project B profitable? Yes or no? Is project C profitable? No. So they're going to do A and B, and their investment spending is going to be the $10,000 plus the $5,000, or $15,000. Suppose instead that interest rates were 12%. Now, which projects are profitable, A, B, or C? A is the only profitable project, which means that their investment spending is going to be just $10,000. As interest rates rise, fewer potential projects are profitable. As interest rates increase, fewer potential projects are profitable, so fewer investment projects will be undertaken. There will be less money spent on investment, less machinery purchase, less construction spending. An increase in interest rates decreases investment spending because previously potentially profitable projects become unprofitable. Don't say it if you spit. Ding. What if I had chosen an interest rate of, say, 10%? Then the business is indifferent between whether or not to do that particular project. So they have to look at some criteria other than profitability. We can look at this on a graph. We put interest rates, which is the lowercase I, on the vertical axis, and investment spending, which is the uppercase I, on the horizontal axis. At an interest rate of 2%, using the previous example, we had $23,000 in investment spending. Find 2%, $23,000, draw a dot. At an interest rate of 8%, we had $15,000 in investment spending. Find 8% and $15,000. At an interest rate of 12%, we had $10,000 in investment spending. Find that dot. Connect them all together, and you get an investment demand curve. The investment demand curve slopes down because at higher interest rates there is less investment spending. At lower interest rates there is more investment spending. Interest rates matter, and matter a lot, to how much investment spending is undertaken. In section, we get to play with a whole lot of other things having to do with investment spending. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you on Monday.